What do paper, clothing, and concrete have in common? They, along with thousands of other products, can be made with hemp. In last week's show, we brought you the first in a series of stories about the controversial crop. And with the 2018 Farm Bill legalizing industrial hemp, it's opening up the industry for farmers. Many in Nebraska are wanting to expand the footprint here and give those growers a way to diversify their rotations. Only, it isn't that simple. Hemp is a crop with a pretty interesting past. It's in the same family of plants as marijuana, and as a result, it had been relegated to the federal government's controlled substances list since the 1930s. But advocates for hemp have argued that since it doesn't possess the psychoactive properties as its cousin, it shouldn't be stigmatized or subject to the same regulations. The latest Farm Bill agrees, with legislation now in place to make growing industrial hemp legal. But current Nebraska law only allows it for the purposes of university research. UNL ag economist Dr. Brad Lubin says at this point, there are still lots of questions.
We're not really there yet, but we now have a pathway to get there. Just because it's been legislated and the language has been signed to legalize it or to remove it from the prohibited list, you still have a regulatory path ahead to determine the exact procedures or the exact regulatory environment under which it can be grown.
UNL researcher and plant scientist Dr. Ishmael Dwicat has been studying hemp for years. While the laws are being rewritten, he fears Nebraska will fall further behind other states that already have numerous hemp plots in place. According to GrowingProduce.com, 23 states grew almost 80,000 acres of the nation's hemp in 2018. Nebraska was 22nd on the list, with just half an acre.
Mostly from Colorado. They are coming to Nebraska to take our wild hemp, to use it for a new hemp development. And they come to Nebraska to increase the seed, to grow seed for hemp, because we have an optimal condition and environment for growing hemp, which is why we're wasting it. We have the highest amount of genetic diversity of wild hemp than any other state in the union.
Dr. Dwicat oversees the state's half-acre on UNL's East Campus. The seeds he uses must be imported from overseas or Canada. The results have been less than stellar.
The problem with the Canadian seed, because they are not adapted to our climate, so they flower so early, and they reach about 3 feet height or tall. So they're not going to be optimum for producing the maximum yield that farmers are looking for. Because it has so many uses of it, farmers could fetch higher prices and more income per acre. So that's what we are hoping for, is that the legislature will allow us or allow the farmers to grow it this coming year or this year, because we've been waiting for a long time.
It's a wait that Nebraska Hemp Association President Bill Accord says farmers shouldn't have to do anymore.
With everything that's going on in the world, they're lucky to not lose money on soybeans right now, and they're not going to make much on corn either. And so, yeah, you know, they want to keep their farms for their families, and you know, some of them are third, fourth generation farmers, and you know, they're concerned because they want to have a fifth generation farm.
Another thing Dr. Dwicat told me from his research, the number of hemp plants on your plot will determine what the harvested hemp is used for. For instance, you can put about 70,000 plants on 1 acre if you want to use it for grain, or putting about 200,000 plants on an acre will yield skinnier plants that would be good for fiber production. And a bit of breaking news with hemp too. Since this story was filed, Nebraska legislators have given first-round approval to a bill that would legalize industrial hemp here. This is a story that Market Journal will continue to follow, and make sure you check out part 1 of this story on our show's YouTube channel.